In this tutorial, we will cover some of the most central settings in our build configuration. Again, let's take a look at the heart rate example. Go to our project settings. Make sure that the common configuration is selected. And when looking at the different settings, you will get additional information at the bottom of the settings window. The first setting that we will take a look at is the debugging level, which we can find under code generation. The debugging level specifies the level of debugging information to generate. The options you have range from none and up to level 3. You can read more about what debugging information is generated for the different levels in the SEGGER Embedded Studio settings. When debugging, this should be set to level 3 to get as much information as possible. The next setting we will take a look at is the optimization level. This specifies what optimization level to use, and here you can choose from none, debug, optimize from size, and from level 1 and up to level 3. For the debugging configuration, this is set to none, and for the release configuration, it's set to optimize for size. Next, we go to linker. And here we look at the section placement file. This should show the name of the file that contains the section descriptions. The flash placement file will refer to the memory segments of the section placement macros below and list the section to be placed in those segments. The flash placement file can be found in our Project Explorer, and if you want to edit the flash placement file, right-click on your project, go to Edit Section Placement, and the flash placement file will appear in your editor. Remember to save the file if making any changes. Now go back to our settings. Go to Linker and take a look at the additional output format. You can take a look at the different options you have in the settings window. By default, this should be set to hex in the SDK. When set to hex, this creates a hex file that can be used when programming your board, for example with NRF Studio. Take note that the soft device will not be included in this hex file. Now go to preprocessor and take a look at the preprocessor definitions. This specifies one or more preprocessor definitions. These definitions can be explained as a global definition that applies to your entire project. These definitions will decide if some portions of the code is to be compiled or not. Next, we have the user include directories. The user include directories contains all the path definitions added to your project. If you want to add files or create your own files and add them to the project, make sure that the path definition is added here. There's also a setting under loader that's called additional load file. This specifies an additional file to load with the application. As we can see from the HRS example, the soft device S132 version 5 is added by default in the SDK. If you want to change this, select Browse and find the file that you want. You can also enter the file path directly in the text box. The path definition that we see here represents the location of the soft device in reference to our project folder. The first part represent that we have to go 6 directories up from the project folder, then go to Components, Soft Device, S132, and find a file in the hex folder. This is only added to make the path definition correct, regardless of where the SDK is installed. That was some of the most important settings in our build configuration, and you can read more about all the different settings in the SEGGER Embedded Studio manual. Thanks for watching.